Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and I'm about to do this last story time. And unfortunately, it is another one about another married guy, and I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. And like I said before, disclaimer, if you think I'm innocent, meaning without sin and all that, then you might as well go ahead and click off this video and save yourself the heartache and pain and just remember whatever you remember before today's videos appeared, because I am not innocent and there have been things that have happened to me and things that I have done that are not of God and that are not pleasing in his sight, or things that I was willingly a part of or wanted to have dealings with. So just letting you know now. And also, again, family members, go ahead and exit out of here. I don't want y'all to be a part of this. I don't want y'all to see none of this foolishness that happened to me. This has been over 10 years ago. So I'm just saying, this is story time. And this is one of the many things that I don't mind telling y'all about and sharing. Okay, y'all. So I don't know why I'm trying to lose my voice, but anyway. So one day I was on College Club, or sorry, my nose was peeling. I was on College Club, Yahoo Messenger. Probably was College Club. It was either College Club or Tagged. Y'all excuse me, my nose peeling right there. But and this guy was talking to me on there. We had a great conversation. He went to AUM, which is Auburn University at Montgomery, Montgomery, Alabama. And I was still at Alabama State University. So this was 6 months to maybe a year after the guy who I was with, who is from Huntsville, Alabama, dumped me. And, we tried to stay best friends and all the other stuff, right? Cool, whatever. So, talking to the guy, and like I said, the conversation was decent. I was like, oh, okay, this is somebody who is into education. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to do something with his life. Okay, cool. He wasn't no ugly dude either. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, So I'm still about friendship or whatever. Now, this was a good while after the first married guy that y'all saw me do the story time on last. So the guy was like, I'd like to meet up with you. I don't have no class after this time. Can we meet up? So, once we figured out our schedules, because I still worked and I was still going to school full time, I had to figure out when I would be able to meet up with him. So I ended up telling him when I could meet up with him, and wanted to know where exactly he wanted to meet up at. So he actually wanted to meet up on AUM's campus. So I was like, okay, that's fine with me. That's cool, because where AUM's campus is, it's literally like 5-10 minutes away from my ex's house. And like I told y'all before, I had keys to everything: car, his house. I had his bank statement information. My name was on that. So if I wanted to go in there, I could, but I was just the authorized person. There were times he couldn't get to his money because he was working or he was in class or something, and he would ask me to go in there into the bank and get some money out or do something in relation to his bank account, and I would have access to that. And I had my own card, all of that stuff. Like, I had access to all of that stuff, even though we weren't even together anymore, y'all. So he trusted me that much with all his stuff. So one of the things that we still, didn't have a problem with was the fact that I could go to his house. I could pop up whenever I wanted to his house. I would just on my own decide to be cordial and be like, I'm gonna go to your house later, watch a show or wash something or eat or whatever I was gonna do, because I would house my food over there too. So even though I didn't have to, I would just, show him common courtesy and let him know that. He'd be like, oh, okay, cool. So I met up with that dude, and since myself and my ex were still trying to be best friends again, I let him know the ins and outs. I told him that I met the guy and everything seemed to be going cool. And I mean, we had been meeting up like every single day for I don't know how long, like almost every single day. And I would come to AUM, various parts of AUM. I had never been on AUM's campus. My sister went there and graduated from there. I'd never in my life been on that campus. I would just go past it on the interstate, and that was it. I would have never been able to know how to get on the campus had it not been for him. Like I knew where it was, where the entrance was, but as far as the various places where he met me in the parking lots and all that stuff, I would have never known had I never met him. So anyway, we would talk. We would have really amazing conversations. We would talk in person. We would talk on the phone, like literally voices being heard, talking to one another on the phone all the time, text all the time. Like, I was like, okay, cool. And like I said before, like I always do, I asked him if he had a girlfriend, fiance, married, whatever. He told me no. And the magical response is, I haven't been with anybody. I haven't had a serious relationship or none of that in 2 years, 2.5 years. One of the two. It's always one of those two responses. Why? I don't know. And so I was like, oh, okay. And, for me, in his situation, I believed it because I was talking to him so much. And when he would be in class, sometimes he would kind of do things that would prove that he was in class. And I'm like, oh, okay. And we would talk any random time. And so I didn't think anything different. Y'all, so one day, he was, we were kind of flirting and things, and I was, not being in a Christian way in that moment. And he wanted some things to go down, and I was in agreement for the most part. And he was like, what we gonna do about that, So we're trying to figure out where we're gonna go. And I told him, I was like, well, let me see. And so I asked my ex if it was okay for me to bring the guy over there. And he was like, yeah, sure, if you let me meet him. I said, okay. So I brought the guy to his job. I'm not gonna say where he used to work, but it was a place that actually is all over so many places. But anyway, so I brought him up to his job. He met the guy. He was like, oh, okay, cool. They hit it off. Well, and that particular day, we were going to go back to his house and watch. Y'all, believe it or not, it was, what was that movie called? It was that movie that had Yolanda Adams in it, where she did the song, I got the victory, I got the sweet, sweet victory in Jesus. Whatever that movie was. We were supposed to watch that movie, and I have not seen it to this day. So he put it in, and we started trying to watch it. And then the TV started watching us, and we were making out a little bit. And he was just doing a lot of things, and nothing nasty at that point. But he was just really letting it be known that he was here for me. He liked what he saw, and if I was down, he was definitely down to do some nasty things, meaning sex. So, y'all, the movie I don't even think that movie was on 10-15 minutes before it just started watching us. So, y'all, some things was about to go down. And I think he got 1 or 2 pumps in, and then I stopped him. I was like, I don't know what it is. I just can't do it. Y'all, when I tell you, the Lord was on time that day. He already knew what it was. So I didn't know what it was. And even though he was disappointed, he was like, well, that's cool. That's all right. And y'all, I couldn't focus on that movie, especially after we just tried to do something sexual. And, we are not married to one another. So it's like, no. Y'all, so anyway, it was just to a point where the mood was like completely ruined, and I was like, yeah, so what we finna do now? So it was kind of like, it's just time to dead this. Ain't nothing else to do, ain't nothing else to say. Okay, cool, whatever. So, the mood was gone. The thrill was gone, all that stuff. It was just fizzled out and over with. Cool. So he ended up leaving. And I mean, of course, this is less than 30 minutes after we arrived. So I ended up texting my ex. And I told, he was like, what, y'all done watching the movie already? And I was like, no, actually, we was about to do some things and kind of did some things, but then it didn't really go far. And I mean, he wasn't mad or anything, and it wasn't like it was in his bed or like whatever. It wasn't any place that would be disrespectful, and it was not, I mean, So I was like, he was like, what? It's only been like, I forgot how many minutes he said it was, but I was like, yeah, that's not going down. I don't know what it is, but I stopped it. So y'all tell me why we still talking like every day. So then I'm at home, literally at home, and my phone rings, and I see his number. I get excited. I mean, I smile. I'm like, oh, he calling me? Okay, cool. Y'all, I answer the phone. I'm like, hey, his name. And so he was like, yeah. And so the person on the phone was like, yeah, this isn't whatever. Y'all, it's a woman on the phone. And I'm looking like, okay, well, who is this calling from his phone? And she was like, this is his wife. And she said what her name was. And I was like, okay. And so she called herself trying to go off on me. And I was like, look, I ain't got time. You can't sit up here and try to go off on me. You need to say all of this rah-rah stuff to your husband. If that's the truth and y'all are married, you need to say all of this to your husband. You don't need to be coming at me like that. Your husband told me that he hasn't been in a relationship or has dealt with anybody in the last 2 to 2.5 years. So you can't even be trying to come at me sideways like that. Like, y'all, I was just like, girl. So, she still, she was kind of shook by that information, but she still thought that she was going to get buck on me, and I hung up in her face. Because that's just the truth. You can't try to come at me sideways when your man the one out here lying to people talking about, oh, I ain't been with nobody in 2.5 years. He said he ain't married. I asked him flat out, was he married? Did he have a girlfriend? Did he have a fiance? He said no. And then kind of found out they lived together, y'all. So after that situation went down, and after his wife called me, I was like, oh no, I'm tired. I ain't got time for this. He better not ever call me or text me or nothing. And I'd be doggone. He gonna try to call me and text me after that. And I was like, look, first of all, I don't know if this the wife trying to be funny and still saying something after the fact to see if I'm going to be a random side chick that's here for a situation like that, but I'm not, because I didn't know you were married. So he was like, please, we getting a divorce, and I'm not happy with her. They live together, y'all. They married and they live together. And I was just like, sir, I ain't got time. I ain't got time for it, because I thought you was cool. I thought you were being honest with me. I was here for you because I was like, look at him. He over here doing what he need to do. He getting to how he live. He over here in school trying to do something with his life. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I'm here for this. You ain't finna sit up here and keep trying to play me. And so, like, he tried for a while, y'all. He really tried to convince me that he was leaving his wife, he was unhappy with her, and all this other stuff. And I'm just looking at him like, don't call me no more. You have a whole wife at the house. Go talk to her. That's who you need to talk to. Go talk to your wife. Talk to your wife. Don't talk to me. Because we have nothing to discuss. And you know you're wrong, because I asked you flat out if you had a girlfriend, if you have a wife, if you have a fiance. I don't play when it comes to that stuff. That's one of the first things I ask people anyway. So you could have been straight up with me and let me know what the situation was. I'm not that type of person, but there are plenty of other people who are here for that situation. It just ain't for me. So I was just like, look, don't text me no more, don't call me, don't nothing. No communication at all. We don't have anything to discuss. So you need to go talk to your wife. Y'all need to go to counseling. Y'all need to do something. Instead of you over here trying to talk to me and make things right with me. There's nothing to make right with me because I'm not your wife. What you need to make right is your marriage or whatever y'all got going on over there because y'all live together. So ain't nothing for you to talk to me about. And so he was in his feelings and he was like, man, that's messed up. And, you know, he over here trying to bring up how we had good times together and how we were, you know, the communication was so great and all this other stuff. And I'm looking at him like, what that got to do with anything? Because had I known you were married, I wouldn't have been talking to you. Ain't nothing to talk about outside of hello, how you doing? Normal stuff. You ain't getting no hug. I'm not finna flirt with you. I'm not doing none of that inappropriate stuff. To me, that stuff is inappropriate because I respect vows. I respect the fact that y'all shared vows, whether you want to respect them or not. That ain't got nothing to do with me. So I'm just not here for all that, y'all. But anyway, y'all, he tried for like almost a week to keep trying to contact me, thinking I was gonna soften my heart and somehow be like, oh, I believe the lie that he's gonna be done with his wife. No, I don't believe you. If you cannot produce a divorce decree, there's nothing for you to discuss. Not in my direction. I've only had one person to produce a divorce decree because that's how serious he was about me. So if you cannot produce a real divorce decree, and I know what a real one looks like, then I ain't got nothing to talk to you. Ain't nothing for us to discuss. Ain't nothing to say. Hey, bye, that's it. If it ain't about work, if it wasn't about school, if it wasn't about something like that, ain't nothing personal for us to talk about. If it ain't about money, something good like that, I ain't got nothing to talk about. So y'all, I was tired in my spirit, so I really do not seek these people out. I be minding my business and they will randomly send me an instant message and be like, hey, how you doing? And have a full-on conversation with me and they got a whole wife at the house. And like with that last situation, I was flabbergasted that this man was like, well, ain't nothing wrong with my wife. I don't have any problems with my wife. I'm happy with my wife. How you happy with your wife but you sleeping around with other people? Pretty sure I'm not the only person that you've been with in the over 14, 15 years you've been with your wife, because you easily went and took me somewhere to do stuff with me knowing that you were wrong, which was why you didn't even say nothing on the ride back to taking me back to campus. So it's like, stop. So yeah, y'all let me know down in the comment section if you thought that that was something that would have come out of my mouth as far as what I've been through and experienced or whatever. And if you want to, you can ask some questions down in the comment section as far as, you know, if I've been in other similar, well, not necessarily similar or whatever, but if I've been in other situations. And if I have, I'll say yes. And depending on what it is, I'll ask you if you want me to do a story time on it so you can get the details. But anyway, y'all, it's getting late. Why you gotta be here beside me? What when you wanted me? I prayed, but you said don't be. I don't know why I'm doing craziness, but anyway, y'all, it's getting late for real. It's getting darker and darker, and I'm about to go. Anyway, I hope y'all are having a wonderful day and a wonderful evening. Y'all have a good weekend. Y'all be safe out there if you decide to go out and about for the holiday that's coming up, because I know a lot of people celebrate in different ways. I'm not celebrating. I'm going out barbecuing and doing none of that stuff. But I plan on staying on the inside and being dry if it's gonna rain and being cool if it's hot. So y'all do the same, and I'll see y'all on the next video.